Somewhere out there, someone has more information on Ventari. I will find it if it's the last thing I do.
Your quest is bold and important. I salute you.
I can't wait to grow old. Can you imagine? Human bodies change so dramatically.
I shall be beautiful when I'm old. I'll be dignified and strong, like they describe the human queen.
Oh, she's very old from what I've heard. Already almost 30.
They gathered by the pale tree, and rain swelled on her upturned leaves, dripping in slow sparks to the earth below. Her roots cradled the firstborn that lay among them, his body covered in a dark blanket like moss over a grave. Malamedes was only sleeping, struggling against exhausting nightmares. From time to time he called out, and Caledon soothed him, placing a damp compress to his forehead in the hope that he would find rest. The healer looked up to the others, face filled with worry. Will he survive? Or will he die? As Rhiannoch did? The question whispered in every heart, but it was Niamh that gave it voice. The mother says he will live, Caledon's murmured, but it was little comfort. Malamedes had been beautiful, as graceful as a willow kneeling by a stream. Now his face bore the carved scars of ill treatment, and the branches of his once iridescent hair had been broken and pruned into splintered, colourless pieces. One leg was withered as if kept too long from the sun, and where his flesh-like bark still clung to the vines of his torso, there were 1,000 small holes. We must kill them all. Caledon's eyes flashed dark gold, and his hand clenched around the hilt of his sword. The Asura have offered peace. They did not realize that They thought that he was simply another of the strange plants of the deep Maguma, mimicking sentience, Aif told them. When they realized he was truly aware, they returned him to us. It is not enough! How will Malamedes find peace if he does not take revenge? Caledon stared disapprovingly. Revenge? Revenge is not our way. Have you not studied Ventari's tablet? As the second-born lowered his head belligerently, Caledon's lectured, It is written, the only lasting peace is the peace within your soul. You should meditate on that, Caledon, and consider its meaning. Caledon glanced at Trahearne, whose expression was as black as his own. No soldier would say such things. No one who had ever lifted a blade to stop oppression or placed themselves in danger to free innocence would say that revenge was unfitting. If Faolain and Kaith were here, they would argue his side. He was sure of it. Abruptly, Trahearne looked up toward the spreading boughs. Yes, mother. He answered a whisper only he could hear. Chagrined, the necromancer unclenched his fists. The pale tree says we need to concentrate on our true enemy, the dragons. Every ally will be needed. Gritting his teeth, Trahearne finished, We make peace with the Asura. Caledon was not sure what was more troubling, that Trahearne had given in, or that the pale tree had spoken only to the firstborn. Following suit, he bent his head, as the mother wishes.
At last you return from Or, brother. What news?
Zaitan's power is growing, and the Risen carry its corruption throughout Tyria.
As I feared. We must be ready. Ah! Here comes the Valiant. Greetings, Valiant. I want you to meet Trahearne, another of the Silvari firstborn. Only a few of the firstborn have wild hunts. I am one. Trahearne is another. I believe he carries the heaviest burden of us all.
More difficult than fighting an elder dragon?
Our task is tangible, if dangerous, young Valiant. His is ephemeral. There may be no solution.
I'm glad to meet you, Valiant, but I'm afraid we have no time for proper welcomes. There is a more immediate matter at hand. Warden Tegwen patrols the beach at Anwen, destroying the Risen that wash in from Or. We exchanged many letters on the subject. The last missive was written during a recent storm, and mentioned an Orian artifact she'd seen wash up on the beach. Tegwen said she intended to retrieve it, but since then I've heard nothing. I fear for her safety.
I'd be happy to go and look for her, Trahearne. If she's in trouble, I'll lend her a hand.
Good. It will be useful for you to see what we are fighting, Valiant. Or is growing stronger day by day.
I'm ready to witness the dragon's corruption. I'm not afraid. As soon as I know more about what's happened to Tegwen, I'll contact you.
Alright then, another extremely hot summer day as we sit down here to record. Now, I've waited deliberately till 3:30 in the afternoon so that it will be in-game dawn right now. This is the sun rising. This way, we get a full episode of the Caledon before night falls. It irks me so much. I know I keep randomly mentioning it in videos.
Handling business dealings.
Why is that?
They seem simple, but have a depth that I can't penetrate. And yet, I feel completely transparent around them.
Wait, who are they talking about exactly? It's not printed it to my chat log down here, so I can't really see. That's a shame. But yeah, so it irks me, and I want you guys to see the gorgeous Tyrian skies. So it's a bit overcast up here at Quetzal Bay. Yeah, guys, we've got a very cool story arc, one of my favorite domestic story arcs in the entire game here. We have gone on to Chapter 2, and we're dealing with the teachings of Ventari. Which we said act with wisdom, but act was our favorite, you know, most listened to piece of advice. So our first job was to meet Keith, and we heard that Trahearne's friend Tegwen had gone missing while looking for an Orient artifact, and this Sylvari was last seen with another Sylvari named Caris near the hamlet of Anwen, which is basically where we're near now. So I'll drop down. The Lion Guard have been seeing us right overnight while we relax a bit and prepare ourselves for this. Obviously, I mean, it doesn't feel that urgent right now. Are we bad for not rushing around constantly, for stopping to smell the roses, see the Tengu wall and so forth? I don't think it's necessarily that urgent yet. Well, you're all in due time, I suppose, guys. There's some Hylek, which I really don't want to attack. Oh, it looks like they're actually attacking the outpost, just as we've left. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, let's head on in to After the Storm. Here you can see some very old concept art of Sylvari, maybe some of the earliest, back before they had a big redesign before launch. So yeah, what do we got? Lots of mowers, pink mowers around. I love shallow water in Guild Wars more than anything else. Oh, I can't really show you because that's out of the instance, but I love like these reflections, like where we were a second ago. I think that always looks so nice. But yeah, I guess we're going this direction.
One more seed plant. There we go. Perfect.
And here we have Caris. Oh, she's planting more of these seed pods. We know these very well.
Oh, you're not Tegwen? Thorns and brambles, where is she?
I'm looking for Tegwen too. A firstborn sent me to check on her. Who are you?
My name is Caris. Tegwen and I are both wardens here at Anwen. We're supposed to protect the beach, but I can't. Oh no, the Risen are coming. Please, stranger, help me keep those monsters off the beach. We'll talk after. Hold your ground. The undead are approaching.
Okay, so a little bit of a token attack here right at the start of the instance, but that's fine. So what we got? More of this same kind of gameplay we saw before when we were with Tegwen, where we can plant the flowers and defend. In fact, it's extremely similar. Not all Sylvari would have this experience, of course. Let's summon our army here. Not all players would have this experience. If we did a different tenant, and if we had a different vision in the dream, then maybe we would have not felt this at all. By the way, in terms of the Green Knight we saw in the dream, I just want to show you this. Yes, I am attacking Caris. Don't worry, I've got a horde of undead to attack while I ramble about trivia and lore. Yeah, I never told you guys, I don't think anyway, but in the dream you can actually see an image of the Green Knight. It is actually printed on one of the walls beyond where Ventari is, so I'll edit that in here. If you look on the screen, that's the Green Knight. Now, if we picked a different one on character creation, we'd see something else. So yeah, that's really, really exciting, actually, I think, and I didn't know about it until very recently. And I thought I'd show that just before we move fully away from that whole story with Burslack and stuff before Occam comes back.
Another day, another battle to fight.
Oh, did she sigh there? It says she sighed. I certainly didn't hear her sigh. Okay, are we done? Oh, no. There's even more. We've got plague carriers. You notice they do that thing with lighting again, where it's got a little bit dark, a little bit nasty, a bit scary around, but I don't think we have to worry too much. Again, you might wonder, why am I not going into Shroud? But as I explained yesterday, hopefully that makes sense. I don't want her to start talking while I'm between the mists and or planes of reality, and I can't quite hear her say wonderful things like that, like look out or whatnot. So here we can use our mark here, the Chillblains, to actually slow them all down before they get in. That gives the turrets more time to attack. That gives our army time to get in. And yeah, it can be kind of nice. I suppose we could emobe them as well with Rigor Mortis. It says immobilize foes, but I think it is only single target. It doesn't have a target number tip on the tooltip.
Over here.
Okay, even more. So here you see, by the way, you might think that this is just like a standard fantasy romp through the world where we're fighting normal undead and like zombie style stuff where they're totally mindless, but you've heard a lot now that they try and flank. What did Trahearne explain at Claw Island later? He says that there's a feint, they test our defenses. You know, they're really, the thralls themselves might not be thinking too deeply about it, but those who command them, the liches and dragons and entities within Or and around, they're pretty smart. And there's quite a lot of sinister stuff going on here. So the pale tree describing the dragons as evil when it seems as calculated as that. Yeah, maybe she's not too wrong. To what extent the dragons are calculating their movements is kind of an interesting thing to wonder about, right? Because we do hear these almost conflicting things, like the way that they act sometimes feels so intelligent and structured and careful about how they conquest across the world. But in other ways, it just seems like, you know, when Kraukatoric woke up and created the scar across Ascalon, the brand, all the way over here, this was just an accident, you know? It's not like, or it seemed like he wasn't intentionally doing it, but yeah. All right, was that it? Karis, are we good? They all dead? I guess we could plant another mine seed. It says still to defend the beach. Oh, no, there are more coming. So let's deal with this plague carrier before he explodes. Oh, so look, one of them hit us. There were two. One of them actually got us. So you can see it puts all these conditions on us and a lot of damage. Now, another thing as a necromancer is not only do we essentially get all this more health from being Death Shroud, but also we are just naturally tankier. We're a high vitality class. You see how we have 2,322 health at level 20? If I was an elementalist, I'd still be light armor. I'd still have the same defense score on my gear, but my health would be a lot lower, and you really do feel a lot tankier just for existing as a necro. Because they're much more attritive in playstyle, right? So the idea is they got a bigger pool.
Oh, this is not good at all.
Okay, there's a hell of a lot of defending to do here, actually. I guess we're learning. They say that combat forges friends, right? You fight alongside someone and then it creates a bond that can never be, you know, repeated anywhere else in life. Maybe this means that Karis is going to be our best friend as soon as this is over.
Stay strong. We almost have them.
Okay, I hope we do, because this is almost more... I mean, Zaitan just tries so hard. This is almost feels like more than we saw back with Gerwin before. So it looks like this is probably the last guy. As you can tell from the ring around him, I've explained this before. He's got a bronze ring. That means he's a veteran, and indeed he's called Veteran Risen Brute. Veterans are a lot tankier, do more damage. The abilities they use don't necessarily change, but sometimes they do. And of course, Veteran is not that crazy. Champion comes after that. Elite is after that. There's all kinds of stuff after Veteran, but still. We're kind of early game right now, so we can forgive it. Let's just fear chain him and do horrible things. And let's blow up our minions on him, shall we? Yeah!
They're all dead. Well, really dead this time.
See, it's so grim. What the Silvari are dealing with, let's just be clear here, is so grim compared to the other races. And yet they're so, like, young and naive and just, like, they're too jovial about the whole thing. She just laughed and clapped. Karis, this was serious. Jesus. I guess it's good. It gives them some courage that the other races may not have. Right, what's going on? Hello.
Very well, Warden Karis. The beach is safe again. Now, what can you tell me about Tegwen?
She's my very good friend and my mentor. She was teaching me how to be a good warden, but now she's missing, and I'm all alone.
Calm down, young one.
She sounds calm.
When did you last see her?
5 nights ago, when a storm hit the village. We were at the watch post. Tegwen spotted something flashing like bright starlight down on the beach. She went to investigate the next morning, as soon as the storm ended. Tegwen was gone before I woke up. She never returned. I searched and searched, but there was no sign of her. I know she's not dead. If she'd been killed, I would have found her remains.
That's true, she was attacked by undead. But what about Krait? They occasionally take captives. Are there any in this area?
Krait? Oh, pollen powder. I hadn't thought of that. I was concentrating on the Risen.
You're right. There are Krait to the south on Brisbane Island. I bet those cold-hearted snakes kidnapped her. Leave behind a wall of seed plants to guard the village and meet me at Brisbane Island. We'll find Tegwen.
Okay. Sounds fair to me. So, we get our quest rewards. So, the emerald, the topaz, or ruby heart. I think I described this once before, but depending on the profession we are, it changes what we've got as an option here. Which is kind of funny that we don't get any condition damage hearts. I think when we're a necromancer, because they're very good with conditions. I guess I'll pick emerald, and we'll get even more health. We've been getting all the velvet stuff. I guess we'll replace our hero's band there. The Hero's Band, of course, being an item you get for being a Guild Wars 1. Actually, no, that's not for being a Guild Wars 1 player. That's for having the deluxe edition of the game. And it basically means nothing. But there you go. I think we showed this off once already as well. So there you go. Another 110 health. Karis, what else do you have to say? Yeah, she didn't sound disturbed at all in that cutscene. She sounded perfectly happy and calm. She says, "You're wonderful. I'm so glad we worked together. You can call me Carrotflower. You did very well yourself. You're so brave. Tegwen's always telling me not to be so brave. Tells me I should look before I leap, even when I'm standing still." Oh, we got a bit of a Siren situation going on here. Speaking of Tegwen, can I ask you something? Absolutely, ask me anything. I'm an open leaf. You said you know Tegwen. Was she your partner? Mentor, more like. She's very kind to me and teaches me all sorts of things. We defend this beach together. So, yeah, they're not like equal wardens, I guess, in that they patrol together or whatever, but Karis is a new warden. Tegwen's a little bit older, more hardened, and sounds more cautious, more my kind of speed. But okay, so what else can you tell me about Tegwen? Tell me more. She's my best friend. When I awoke from the dream, the undead were attacking. Tegwen threw me a sword so I could defend the grove. Wow, so here we even hear, right? I mean, it's funny to think that that could have been the tutorial, like, contrivance that makes us a hero at the start of the game. There was an undead attack right as they woke up. The devs could have had the story for us, but instead we have the attack within the dream. So Tegwen's there. She throws her the sword. Nice. Have you seen any Krait in this area? Oh, yes, all the time. They're awful creatures. They take slaves and they eat people. We have to stop them before they hurt Tegwen. Right, so we don't really know too much about the Krait. We've seen them in snippets. I've alluded to them a few times. Our player character seems to know something. Got a bit of a bucket of knowledge about them from the dream, it would seem. So I will explain a bit about those in a second as we go to the next instance. What's it like to be a warden of Anwen? It can be boring. Still, the people in the village are very kind, and someone has to keep the beach clear, right? Okay, you're doing a very good job. Right, alright, so we learn quite a bit about these two Sylvari. And I guess a little more to do other than level up again. Christ, it feels like the levels are coming quick. Oh, we're going to get traits very soon, guys. Ooh, and then we can do stuff to augment our minions. But let's leave and go on through. So now the Krait. When I started playing Guild Wars 2, back in 2012, I knew a lot about the Kraits, even though they're a totally new race for the second game. There were some snake-like races in the original game, such as the Naga in Cantha. But the Krait are new for Guild Wars... Oh, no. The Krait were in Guild Wars 1 as well. They were in the expansion, but they were like... There was very little information about them, and they kind of like transformed and stuff, to be honest. They had some sides of them that we don't see much of in Guild Wars 2. So we didn't know much about the Krait, but when I got to Guild Wars 2... By the time the game came out in 2012, I actually knew quite a lot. Now, you might wonder, how is that a thing? And that's because, pre-release, the developers released a series of blog posts that dealt with various aspects of lore and world building. And one of those blog posts was on the Krait.
When I joined the Lion Guard, I never imagined they'd ship me off to the worst haven in Tyria, give me a hammer, and tell me to repair the wall all day.
Okay, brilliant.
Beats charging off into the dark every time something howls down in Slaver's Deep. At least we never miss a meal, and I'd rather eat than be eaten.
Damn, Slaver's Deep? That sounds really cool. That sounds almost like a reference to a Guild Wars 1 area. Or is that just a landmark here in Caledon? I don't know. It's cool to hear about Norn working in the jungle and building these places. Good hardy workers, you can imagine, right? Right, yeah, so the Krait, there was a blog post that talked a lot about them. So when I finally got to do instances and things like this, I kind of had that extra information. So those short story sections that I've started reading in the videos, and there will be lots of them coming up, they came from those blog posts. There was a big one with a short story on all the 5 major races. And over the rest of the series, I will start doing those. I kind of wish I did it in the earlier episodes, but whatever, right? So we will do... You're currently listening to the Sylvari one at the start of the videos, but we'll continue on. Now, there was one to do with the Krait as well, but it wasn't really a short story. It was more just an explanation of them. And it's an explanation that's really been unparalleled by the game itself has never done as well as that blog post, in my opinion. So we'll add... There were a couple of quotes in that post, and I'll give you 1 or 2 as we play through, just so you can understand a bit more about these really cool villains. So let's do it. Beneath the Waves. Dark shapes slither through water, shadows within shadows of waves. Watch your children if they walk too close to the shore. Watch yourself. Far too many have vanished into these waters, and none have ever returned from the deeps. Jarl Foxcoat, the Norn-Skald. Krait structures stretch from the ocean depths to just above the surface. The underwater constructions are elaborate, built to incorporate coral reefs and natural caverns. The great pillars that mark the slave pens are often built of shipwrecked wood or other stolen materials garnered from forays onto land. Krait live in the palatial grounds below, worship at the obelisks, and enjoy the fruits of their hunts. Humans and other air-breathing slaves are penned in small chambers at the top of their pillars until it is time to be eaten or sacrificed. The slaves are allowed small fires in which to cook their allotment of fish. Sometimes the light from their flames can be seen for miles, warning away ships that might pass too near Krait water. Damn, that's a creepy-ass loading screen right there. Okay, so, there's line guard back there. They seem to be patrolling and perfectly safe. That's not a part of the instance. We got a ton of fireflies. Let's resummon our friends. And, Karis is just waiting on the beach over here. So...
Stand and face me, you treacherous eels. Deliver Tegwen back to me safe and sound, or I will cut you into fishing bait. And, hey, are you listening?
I don't know whether they are listening. So that is one of the creepy-ass Krait sanctuaries. The idea is they're an aquatic race, but they take prisoners and occasionally throw them in cages on these big wooden structures.
Slithery creatures, I'll chop you all into bait.
You were supposed to wait. Rushing off like that could have gotten you captured or killed. What were you thinking?
Thinking? I was thinking I should wait. But then I stopped thinking that because there were Krait. Those eels will pay for harming Tegwen.
All right, loose cannon. I see some Krait spires over there. If Tegwen's their captive, they'll be holding her in one of those. Come on, let's go get her back.
Okay, I take it back. This isn't Siren at all.
Let's go.
This is like Siren times 2. Karis, slow down! I should just charge it off again. Oh my god. Okay, so...
I'll follow. Don't worry.
I hope you do. I really hope you do. So, underwater necromancer stuff. We still get Death Shroud, so check it out. But our Death Shroud abilities do change. So, the auto is basically the same thing. But the 2 is now called Dark Water. I love these skills, by the way. Very few players know the names and icons and things of these skills, but they're so cool. So, Dark Water, blind and poison foes near your target with a dark cloud. So, it's this. Here we've got the Wave of Terror. This is like the Fear ability again. It's like Doom, but it's in a big wave now. It's AoE now, which is great. There's Gathering Plague, which takes conditions from all my allies, puts them on me, and then does something else. I can't remember, and we've just been kicked out because we ran out of life force, so we'll have to rebuild some of that. I'm going to swap on all of my minions here, because you can still use a lot of them. Many of these minions can swim, just as Karis can. In fact, does Karis have dialogue?
All things have a right to grow.
Oh, she does. You can ignore how it is that she's supposed to be able to speak underwater. The game just, like, glosses over that quite often. I mean, we're in an aqua breather, as you can see. We dynamically put on when we go underwater. She says, when we catch those Krait, I'll knock their scales off. Have you ever fought Krait before? Wait, hang on. I know this one. Yes, I have. Okay, what do you know about them? She says they build towers, they enslave people, they worship rocks, is that right? I don't know, that's why I was asking you, we say. So I guess we don't know too much about the Krait. This idea that they worship rocks is the idea that there's, like, mysterious slabs of obsidian on the seabed, like, way, way out in the unending ocean. And they're, like, really mysterious how they got there and why they're there, but the Krait, like, worship them. It's really kind of exciting, actually. So there you go, like the ideas of their religion. But yeah, so many Krait, like other aquatic species, such as the Quaggan, have been pushed into central Tyrian areas since the movements of the Elder Dragons. Right, let's deal with the underwater stuff. Now, there was a big underwater update recently, which made Necromancer really kind of fun. So we're running Trident right now. We still have weapon swapping, though. So, remember how Ellie got 4 achievements in the water? Well, Necro does get weapon swapping and Death Shroud and all of that stuff. So, you still get a lot of skills for Necro. The auto throws piranhas out. Send a devouring surge towards your enemy called Crimson Tide. And it's basically piranhas. So, if we find a Krait here, they nibble away, inflicting bleeds constantly. And every other ability we do will also send more Crimson Tides out, which is kind of a fun new aspect of Trident that wasn't there until very recently, 2018. So skill 2 is Feast. Weaken and damage foes. Gain life force for the more foes that you strike, and you fire piranhas at everyone you hit. So let's see how this looks. Crimson Tide. It looked like it had a flip over. Oh, no, it didn't have a flip over. It just had Crimson Tide there. So yeah, Feast. We get Foul Current. Dart at your foe and strike them with tremendous force, inflicting poison based on the distance you travel. And you're constantly releasing Crimson Tides as you go. Okay, so there's a crate all the way down there. We can charge him and just release a ton of bleed on him right at the last second. The 4, Sinking Tomb. Now, I want a new target for this. We entomb our foe, making them sink. And as they sink, we fire tons of Crimson Tides at them. So you see this crate over here. If I pop this on him, if you look, there's a tombstone is actually sinking down. An actual gravestone. We conjure out of nowhere and sink him down. So that's like a CC. And, oh, wow, I got a freaking daily there. I guess we'll talk about that a little bit later. Like, way later. This ornate rusted key is not relevant for a long time. And then, finally, we got Frozen Abyss. Create a continuously expanding field near us that chills, vulnerabilities people, and damages them. And we pulse Crimson Tides around us constantly. So this is like just a giant, big energy nuke on the skill 5, which is always the biggest strong one. So there you go. And you can see all these bleeds we do. So really, all you have to know is that the 3 moves you, the 4 like interrupts people, and the others you can just kind of spam for damage, basically. One of them's melee, the other's a ranged. And that's basically the way that the Trident works for the Necro. We do have a whole other weapon, and that's Spear, though, so we'll deal with that when we get to it. Let's kill this guy. I'll show off those last Death Shroud skills again when we go a little bit further with this. Actually, hold on. The captives... So they do have cages underwater, and they will imprison and capture aquatic species, right? Like this cage here. But our friends probably are, we're terrestrial creatures. So if anything, they're going to be at the top of the crate structure, which was really deep. If you come here in open world, actually, there's a hero challenge right at the bottom. So these are pretty scary places, and mechanically, Krait are just as dangerous as they are in the lore. They're very evil, scary creatures in the story, and they tend to have pretty decent combat abilities as well that you want to be careful of. So I guess actually I will show you the last Shroud stuff, because I don't know whether we're going to go underwater again. Is there any other crate to kill and show off? Here you go, here's one, a Hypnos. So Gathering Plague was draw conditions from our allies, and then is that it? It doesn't do any damage or anything. It just gathers condies and weakness as ourselves. That's crazy. I can't believe it. And then the 5 is Tainted Shackles. It's the same as it is above land. Which, if you remember, I gave you a bit of trivia. Tainted Shackles was actually added after launch. So they never used to... When they were making the game, they never had to figure out an underwater 5. So when they added Tainted Shackles, they were a little bit lazy with it. And they just added it above ground and below ground. So anyway, there you go. That's a hell of a lot of underwater stuff that we've talked about there. Let's get back out.
No surface scum! You will never get away!
Alright, the crate freaking talking to us there. We get out with our blurry eyes for a moment as we adjust back to the light. And what do you mean we'll never get away? It's you that's trapped in here with me!
Drylander, please! Free me from this cage! Have mercy!
Oh, guys, it sounds like there's a Hylic there. Remember, not all Hylic are bad. As we know, Bract is actually due to be learning a little bit more about them and cooperating with them. Oh god, there's even more Krait over here coming out of the water. Looks like they're angry that we're up here. See, this is the cool thing about having minions. The minions actually just casually stayed back here, holding back the tide, while I ran on forwards. And they were dying, but now we can come back, we can give them regeneration and stuff and make sure that they stay in there. Oh, our ghost died. That's such a shame. The Shadow Fiend. Up you get again in a second. So let's take these guys out. Use our bouncing scythe.
Here, free me. My massive intellect must be preserved.
They've got a freaking Asura up there as well. That Asura is actually going to become a big character in a second. Oh no, I fell. Oh, I'm such an idiot. All right, hold on. We'll go back up. Man, I love the ambient sounds of those torches and things. Okay, hello everyone. What is going on here? Quite a collection, quite a party.
Tegwen, are you all right? Thank the Mother Tree, I was so worried.
Is this the celery stalk you keep babbling about, Tegwen? Well, spank me and call me apprentice. Looks like your salad days aren't over after all.
Karis, what are you doing here? Why have you left your post? You have a duty to protect Anwen. One of us must be there.
By the alchemy, stop being a warden for 10 seconds and just thank him, you wilting shrub.
Please don't be mad. I had to find you. I had to. I just couldn't think of anything clever. Then the Valiant came and did amazing things, and here we are.
Oh, Karis, you may not be a genius, but you have such a good heart. Thank you for not giving up on me.
Some of us are still in cells here. It's been really great waiting to be a Krait snack, but my toes are shriveling and I'd like to go home.
Of course. My regrettable Asura companion is correct. We must free all the prisoners, even the annoying ones. There's a Krait jailer out there in the water. He'll have the keys to open these cages.
Don't worry, we'll find him. Everyone gets out of here alive. Well, everyone except the Krait.
Damn, we don't even care. Stone cold. I knew it, by the way. I knew there was going to be more underwater, for God's sake. All right, there was a reason to swim down. So I'm going to go all the way down now. I'm just going to skip past a ton of mobs. This could be really dangerous. We're going to go all the way to the bottom of the seabeds. Here he is, the Krait Keymaster. And now let's take him out.
Warm-blooded filth. I'll throw you in the cages with the others.
Okay, I'm sure you will. Very, very scary. Oh, wow, he cast a net on me, immobilizing me so that my skill 5, the big energy nuke, didn't do anything. The Frozen Abyss. God, what a cool skill name that is. So that's a shame. There's the wave, Tainted Shackles. And now we'll jet back out of Shroud again because we don't really need to do anything. We'll get our minions to activate their abilities as well. Oh, I lost the target. Where is he? Looks like all of his friends have successfully confused me. There he is. All right. And he can't run away this time. Frozen Abyss. Oh, yeah. So 10 stacks of bleeds. Every tick of bleed, then, he's taking 10 times the number that he normally would. That's very, very great. So we can haunt him again. We can even entomb him in case he tries to... I don't know whether he will try to heal himself. That's more of a thing later, I think. We can doom for good measure. Keep him feared. So fear, by the way, I haven't talked about too much. Fear is a condition that forces them to run away from you. And as a necromancer, we get all kinds of traits that can augment fear. So yeah, I was very casual about that. But yeah, doom and what's it called? Wave of fear. These things inflict that condition. Like any condition, its duration can be increased. And we can increase its duration through other means as a necro. It's kind of a fun. Okay, so who do we want to free first? I kind of want to free this guy since he didn't talk before.
May the sun bless you. I am free.
Hello. How did you get caught?
Do you have any food?
No, I don't have any food, but I'm sure you can get some over there. I'm gonna free Tegwen next as well because she's very cool, and I'm not sure about the Asura. So Tegwen is definitely the yin to Karis's yang, as far as I can tell. And then lastly, we have Lara. Lara.
I hate cages almost as much as I hate logic problems. Thanks.
You hate logic problems? What kind of an Asura are you? That's unbelievable. Okay, now we got to escape. Wow, this is a really long instance, actually. Oh, I fell in the water straight away. Hey, maybe that means that we've bypassed some kind of attacking wave of Krait. I'm not sure whether there actually is one due. Oh, there's one on the field here, at least.
Are escaping. Stop them. Cripple them if you need to.
Oh, here they go. It's a beach party waiting for us. That's fine. So we can come straight back in. They crippled us, so we can put the cripple back on them with one of our marks, remember? I think it's the putrid mark that does that, the 4. I just can't really... This series has been kind of fun to do with you guys and sit down and play today, because it's reminding me and teaching me of skill names that I often wouldn't take the time to memorize. Like, I would just call this Focus 4, but now I'm remembering this is called Reaper's Touch, you know? And this is Chillblains, and this is Putrid Mark, instead of just Staff 3 and Staff 4. Ihuatl died! No! Get him up! Poor guy. Jesus. The Krait managed to claim him there. He chills and shoots darts. We got quite the army here now. The slaves have escaped. Huzzah!
I'm so glad you're safe, Tegwen. I was lost without you. I mean, I knew how to find North, but still lost.
I'm very proud of you. You kept the beach clear and you rescued me. Valiant, how did you happen to be in Anwen?
Trahearne sent me. He hadn't heard from you since the letter you wrote during the storm where you mentioned an Orien artifact.
My mentor. I'm fortunate he was able to send you. He's taught me so much about defeating the creatures of Or. I wanted to get the artifact and send it to him for his research. It was a beautiful silver mirror, just radiant, covered in the designs of ancient Or. I saw it from my window during the storm, but the rains were too heavy to go out. When I went to search the beach the next morning, I was attacked by Krait.
Hey, I was captured during that storm. I was checking the skrit traps near my lab. You know, I think I heard those rats chittering about a slab of hard water. Might be your mirror. I figure I owe you one for the rescue. Those skrit have a scratch near Zinder Slope. If you want, I'll show you where they live.
Oh, can we? I've never seen a skrit house, and that way we could still get the mirror. Tegwen?
Well, Anwen's protected by the seed plants, and it is for a good cause. All right. Valiant, I'd like you with us. Shall we meet at Zinder Slope?
I'll see you there.
Cool. Okay, so this was all about a mirror. Interesting. And the skrit we've got, as you heard there, that's a skrit scratch. Where they live, they're called scratches. Oh, we get a really nice new staff here. That's awesome. It's way, way, way stronger than our previous one. Same skin as well, so that's nice. Huatul doesn't say anything.
Izzy, please speak quickly.
He just says, my thanks for the rescue. My family will be so worried. I need to get back to them.
Thank you.
Oh, and he left. Oh, when we ended the dialogue, that's really cool. Karis, she says, so the rats are called skrit? How curious. I wonder what it means in their language, or even what it means in ours. Maybe we'll have a chance to ask. A million thanks, Valiant. You and Karis risked your lives for me. I won't forget it. So who was expecting, honestly, who was expecting that this entire story would be about finding Tegwen and we'd only find her right at the end, a bit like maybe with Deborah? No, they change it up. I like that. So, wait. Trahearne's your mentor and you're Karis's mentor, correct? So how do you know Trahearne? When Aurian artifacts wash up on our beach, I bring them to Trahearne, and he teaches me about ore. He's a mentor to me. You're lucky to have such a mentor. Can I ask you? Yeah, Jesus Christ. She is being mentored by the very first Sylvari. Wow. Karis said you were her partner? She came out of the pod fighting. I respect that. With a little training, she could lead a squadron of her own. She's that talented. She's amazing. Better than I'll ever be. You've seen her. She just needs time to figure things out, right? So she's just like, she's like a dwarf. She's like Kilroy the dwarf, right? She's just like this mental wrecking ball powerhouse, but doesn't think very much about what she does. Okay, who's this Asura? Yeah, who is this Asura? Lara. She's loudmouthed, ruthless, and vulgar. Your standard Asuran scientist. She doesn't seem too standard. She's helping us out, and she said she didn't like logic puzzles. So Lara, hello. Out of the mess, into another. Skrit, here we come. If they so much as shake a whisker at me, I'll have a winter coat with them. Line your coat with skrit hide? That's sick. No. Skrit may be less intelligent, but they're not animals. Wow, we just scold her. Barely. I can hold better conversations with a tree. Oh, no insult intended. Alright, I know what you meant. Okay. Yes, I take offense to calling people trees, and the trees are stupid, because look at me, I'm so tree-like. Okay, so the skrit scratch is along a road over here. I get... Oh, that's kind of unfortunate. I'm going to do something kind of out of sequence here. But these are not the only skrit here in Caledon Forest. There are some others. And last episode, we walked quite near them, but not directly to them. So I just want to show it off. This is Maybon Market again. And if we go slightly ahead of Maybon Market... this is a bit of a treat for the Guild Wars 1 fans. You will find there are some ruins of an old building over there. These are not Sylvari ruins. I mean, obviously, right? They never built things out of stone. It's also not Asuran ruins, though the Asura have come to the area. This is the ruins of the unseen. So these are actually human ruins. Where we are right now... This ruin of the unseen. The skrit are here, the Asura are here these days. But 250 years ago, you can even see a player run around that jumping puzzle. 250 years ago, this was a temple built by the White Mantle, a cult-like group of fanatics that were for a short time in charge in Krait. And they had a big temple dedicated to one of the ancient races of the world, the Masat. It's now fallen into ruin and whatnot, but Guild Wars 1 players could actually come here. It was called the Temple of the Unseen, and there was a mission, oh god, I can't remember the name of it, the Riverside Province, I think it was, that took you exactly here. That lines up perfectly with the old game. You know, this was a mission as well called Sanctum K, so that kind of blew my mind. This was one of the coolest things for me as a Guild Wars 1 and a Guild Wars 2 player when I first got here, to see that. And to see that there was a reference to one of the ancient races, to the White Mantle, and what had happened exactly with that temple there. So just generally really, really fascinating, awesome stuff. So I wanted to show that, and we'll use the skrit as a vague segue. You can actually explore a little bit inside there, see what the skrit are doing. There are a selection of achievements in the game for finding hidden areas, explorer achievements, and one of them is actually there. Oh, we got another haven as well nearby. Let's grab the waypoint here. The Lion Guard are so good in Caledon Forest, actually. They've got so many havens. For Metrica, I think there's...
Work upstairs right here in the haven.
It is not our habit to turn anyone away from the haven without good cause.
Hold on.
Yeah, but Asura by themselves are obnoxious. Dermot Priory by themselves are obnoxious. And a Dermot Priory who's also an Asura really gets under my fur.
I like this guy. This is cool. So wait, there's an Asura here with the Priory? I don't really recognize what this is all about. Let me...
Exactly that drew you to join the Lion Guard?
Okay, well, is he going to answer? We're going to stand here and see if he answers. Remind me again, what exactly was it that drew you to join the Lion Guard, she asked.
You want something?
Yeah, answer her. Answer the Sylvari. Damn it, he's not answering. All right, I want to go see this Asura. I don't really know what was going on here.
But the ale out here tastes like dew filtered through lilac petals.
I went by the other day.
Have a piece of fruit.
What are they doing here outside their wall?
None of them will say. They're very private people.
Those guys talking about the Tengu. Wow, there's so much chat here at this outpost. Oh, it's him, researcher Flit. Can't chat now, busy. These Lion Guard buffoons are blocking access to what may be valuable information, so I put in extra effort to work around them. This is too important to be blocked by proprietary. What are you researching? I just said I can't chat now. This is serious work. It could be a major breakthrough, but only if I manage to finish my work uninterrupted. So I don't think we ever find out what he's working on. Maybe through his apprentices or something. There might be a bit of dialogue, but I'm not sure it ever becomes super relevant. Captain Ragnar. We should have known someone would want to co-opt our space when we built Caledon Haven over some ancient ruins. I prefer some Dermot Priory guys to this Asuran crew, though. At least they're pretty polite about it. What are they studying? Ask one of them if you're really interested. I have a haven to run. We stay out of the way and hope they'll at least try to stay out of ours. So this haven's actually probably built and studying the ruins of the unseen, which are just slightly to the south. That Asura's probably got some really interesting insights.
Who are these Tengu? What's their story?
All I know is they come from a far-off land and live behind that wall.
What happened to make them wall themselves off from the world?
I don't know. They never talk about it.
These guys are all really fascinated by the Tengu. Now, Guild Wars 1 players might have a little bit of understanding as to why the Tengu walled themselves off from the world. Is it dawn? Is it dusk already? No way. That's not the sun setting, is it? I think it's just because we're in a kind of a spooky area. We're going into a swamp now. Guild Wars 1 players will know a little bit because if you played the Winds of Change updates, they kind of show off how isolationist and xenophobic the humans of Cantha became. And you can imagine as a non-human, a Tengu, living in that region of the world, you might become very, you know, defensive and scared of interacting with outsiders. So they come here and hide behind a wall. That's just the speculation. That's just the idea, though. So here we got another little village with a ton of wardens around. We may be returning here later in the story. I don't know. These guys are checking out. I know at least if we'd picked Where Life Goes, So Too Should You, we would have a story here. And little random bit of trivia. The old version of this playthrough I did many years ago, I played a Sylvari and I did Where Life Goes, So Too Should You. And you can actually see me playing a mission over there. Kind of fun. We're coming along here. We will definitely return to this swamp. Cool little Easter egg, by the way. If you look up here on the right, if you look very carefully in the background here, you can see that there's faces in these trees. Look at these. Faces all around. And you'll notice we're in the range of a meta event. This is Wickmire Swamp. Shadows grow long in the heart of the swamp, and we can help Gamirian find the source of the darkness. Surely this event isn't about to happen, is it? It might. There's a Sylvari that inspects and examines this area of the world and summons a great terrifying beast that must be slain, and it happens maybe every 3 hours or so in real world time. But even though it says that we should help Gamirian, there's no actual event going on, so I think it's waiting for the next thing to happen. But yeah, really cool place. Over here on the left, you see we're at a place called Banshee's Keen. There's several Nightmare Court around. Actually, don't worry about on the left just there. That's just a Nightmare Court outpost, which we don't care too much about. But a bit further up, well, maybe... No, I am right. Yeah, let's go left. Here, I want to show you guys this. Here, it's getting very swampy, very dark, very dangerous and scary. There's a lot of Nightmare Court around. And, in fact, this is one of the heartlands of the Nightmare Court, where some of the most dangerous and deadly of the Nightmare Court are. Definitely not a place we'd be very safe exploring too close to. But I'm going to try and fight my way through these. You can see that there's a waypoint nearby, near these Nightmare Thorns. Let's jump down. Oh, God, we're actually going to get killed by these freaking Nightmare Court. No, I wanted to jump down behind the bark. Here, down here. you can see that there's a portal and indeed a dungeon. Whoa! With a character called Warden Aiden. So the fact there's a dungeon here, you guys know for a fact, one day we will be returning to this area of the world, and perhaps with some Destiny's Edge members in tow. Why that might be, how it's all going to end up like that, well, time will tell. So anyway, yeah, dangerous, Nightmare Court Heartland, and guess what? We are going to be dealing with some Skrit that are also nearby, just to the north. But to get to the north, I think I have to walk around this giant tree or something through this one. Now, the direct route, the normal player would have just followed a road. There's a Lion's Road that comes all the way through. You even get a nice little scout on the way, and it's all very comfortable and easy and fun and free. But we've taken this, like, ridiculous route here. Look, there's even a pack bull on the road. I wonder where he's going.
Trolls incoming!
Stay calm and hide. They don't see or hear us. Maybe they'll leave us alone.
Trolls from...
You just had to take a break. I told you we should have kept going.
Oh my god, there's the trolls. So I think this is actually an event, but not quite. Yeah, here you go. Look, the trolls are attacking. Oh my god, they killed the bull. That's unbelievable. Wow. So there's a jungle troll boss here. Defeat the jungle troll chieftain. I guess we can deal with that, and a lot of wildlife that's nearby as well. These sparkflies and things. So let's just try and stay focused on him. I'm sure the sparkflies will die in the meantime. Problem is, he does so much damage. He's proper blowing up our minions here. 2 of them are dead already, so we want to try and get some weakness on him, maybe. Now, we can apply weakness by dropping the poison field on Chillblains and blasting in it with the putrid mark. Or, there you go, look, he just killed 2 more of our minions. Or we can do some other combos, like blow up our minions in it. Anyway, he's almost dead, so it doesn't matter. There you go, adventurers. Oh my god, there's even more. No, they're running off now, I think. Are they running off? No, they're not running off. They're still trying to kill us. Are you okay, adventurers? Are you happy now? Are you going to be forced to go back because all your supplies have been lost?
Good riddance. I'm glad that filthy beast is finally dead.
Calm down, Trundle. Keeping spite for the dead doesn't help anyone.
Oh, I'll take my spite to the grave, thank you very much. It killed my favorite bull.
This is going to be a long, hard trip, now isn't it?
You were the one who decided to take a break.
Wow. Okay. I'm sure if we got here earlier, we would have seen that. The troll had to die to make the road safe for travelers. That said, I can't help but feel a little sorry for him. The troll would have killed us without a thought. I'm sure it would have, and I'm sorry you were dragged into the situation. You fought well, though, and you deserve all the praise in the world. Thank you, friend. What do you have for sale? Well, he sells us Remy Trundle Lager. So, lovely. I'm going to stay off of the booze.
Greetings.
It's amazing how easily vengeance quells an angry heart. Really? So you feel better now that the troll's dead? Oh, definitely. Though, to be honest, it wasn't just revenge that did it. Your willingness to stand up and defend me helped too. That's how Remy won my heart so many years ago. It brought back some nice memories. Glad I could help, thanks. So yeah, these are humans, and funnily enough, we're actually getting kind of close to Kessex Hills here now. Way off north of the Pale Tree and the Grove at this point. You know, you got these swamplands as sort of a barrier between the 2 regions, I guess. But yeah, we're pretty far out there. Let's keep moving. It looks like someone's putting troll food out on the road. Why would you do this? Oh no, it's just a dead drake, so we can press F on it to try and poison it or get it away, I suppose. And actually makes a progress on the heart. And yeah, so here we have the barrier to another area. This is not to a dungeon now. I love the look of this. It's so misty and like foreboding even, really. But when we travel through, you'll actually find, guess what? We come out to a familiar place. Unclaimed by any nation or race, the Brisbane Wildlands are a haven for secretive Asura labs, bandit encampments, and large communities of Skrit. Its eastern regions are dominated by Mount Nashington, but the great cavern-riddled mountain gives way to more desolate terrain to the west. So, we have very briefly seen Brisbane. Bract ran through Brisbane long ago when he was leaving from Metrica Province and the old Asuran storyline stuff. And we have actually seen this very small place for a brief window before.
Interesting. How do you deal with them then?
By finding them, rooting them out, and showing them the point of your sword before they spread their corruption further.
They're talking about the Nightmare Court. So the peacemakers of Ratasum speaking to the wardens. My wild hunt called me here to correct wrongs my wayward brethren in the Nightmare Court of cause. I hope to learn what I can from the peacemakers, so I can do that. Can I ask you a question? It'd be my pleasure to answer your questions. What would you like to know? What are you learning from the peacemakers? Wrong question. What are you learning from the peacemakers? My life has been spent in the seclusion of the grove. The peacemakers have long been here, serving labs and fighting inquests, so I speak with them, learning what I can. What is it like being called to a wild hunt for you? I was growing a new addition onto my home when I felt a pulling at my core, which then guided me to this location. I did not know what I would find when I got here, but I knew I was needed. What are the Nightmare Court trying to do here? They constantly seek to change themselves, to change the world, to be closer to the darkest reaches of the dream. See, they seek to... Even her explanation of this here is like... Oh, look, there's 2 more Wild Hunt Valiants. Oh, that's so cool. I hope you guys are hearing this dialogue when it's quite far away and it gets a little bit quiet. Okay, what does the Peacemaker think of the Silvari then? This used to be the perfect area for those minds who wanted to work away from Ratasum's noise. Then the Inquest moved in, followed by the Nightmare Court and those pesky bandits. Sounds like a problem. Tell me more. Yes, well, let's make it quick. I'd like to make it back to Morat Brew eventually. This was actually a lab that Brack saw for a little while. What are you doing here? The Nightmare Court are a completely unpredictable element. If we can help those wild hunt flora keep them at bay, perhaps they'll stop being our problem. Tell me about the Inquest. Well, the fools are convinced that Asuras, and by Asuras they mean themselves, should conquer the world. And they don't care if they destroy the world in the process. And you're dealing with them here? Not here. I need to get back east. We've got an Inquest lab out there that's practically grafted to our backyard. I don't mind helping out the twigs, but my command is there.
Building labs in Brisbane Wildlands a little over a year ago. You know when the Nightmare Court moved in?
I only know when I heard the call to this wild hunt pulling me here. That was only recently.
Perhaps the techniques that have failed in rooting out the Inquest will do better with your particular brand of pest.
I love this. It's like all the pests of the race, of 3 of the races meeting here. Only the Char and Norn are sort of separate from this. It's so cool. It's a great area to have as a slightly higher level map as we move higher through the story. So here he says that the Inquest moved in about a year ago. You remember that was about when Thorman Nova exploded, right? Okay. What are the bandits doing in the Wildlands? Well, I have trouble understanding normal humans, let alone one cast out by their own as deviants. They steal, they kill, and they're north of here. That's all I need to know. Alright, they're north. They sound like bad news. Hopefully we won't interact with them too much. And here, look, Seraph. What can I help you with, Traveller? What can you tell me about this camp? Well, it's rough travelling in this territory. There are Nightmare Court, bandits, even aggressive Hylic in the way. I volunteered to help our Silvari allies man this outpost to guide any merchants passing through. We'll keep up the good work. Alright, and finally we get a scout.
Brisbane Wildlands is a secluded area that has drawn some unsavory attention as of late. The Nightmare Court has taken up residence in the caverns, as well as near our revered tree to the north. If you decide to travel here, be watchful at all times.
Okay, nice, short, basic. We kind of understood that about Brisbane as it was anyway. There's a lot of really cool NPCs here, by the way. I think some of my favorites are actually in this house.
More than mayhem. I meditate, I contemplate.
On the battlefield?
In the wilderness. The singing of a sword is like a breeze through the trees.
Okay, so what do these guys say? Well, you seem like the main event. He says, I have the ability to create change in this world with nothing but my convictions and my sword. Violence is not a concern for me, merely the outcome of an action. And act I must. So that's kind of act with wisdom, but act. Brennelin says, in my dream, I saw the land dying and rotting away. Then I saw a seed planted, and it grew, and it healed the whole world.
Forgive me, but you're not like other warriors I've met. Is your life difficult?
I don't have the size of a Norn or the brawn of a Char, but I manage.
You carry yourself like a champion.
I fight like a Silvari. My blade flows and cuts like a cold wind in the forest.
Oh, that's a cool friggin' metaphor right there. Or simile. I believe it's my quest to use my herbal skills to cure the land of corruption. It's interesting because what she sees there sounds a little bit like the pale tree itself rising to counter the elder dragons, right? But she's interpreted that as using herbal skills. So you can see a guy who believes in violence to enact change and a person who believes in healing to enact change. That's not actually who I thought it was. I know there was someone really fascinating in this town. We're going to find them.
Have you met others who follow your path?
Many. Our styles of swordplay are as old as the forest.
Okay. What about Vervain here?
I'm ready to go.
The wildlands are lush with nature's bounty, but behind the shadow of each leaf lies an evil in hiding. This is why so many of us felt the call to this wild hunt. What kind of evils? Human bandits, the Inquest, Nightmare Court have all found their way into this darkest bloom in this place. Tell me about the Nightmare Court. They are our kind who have embraced the darkest part of the dream, inflicting cruelty and pain on anyone they can find. Here they prey on the Skrit, attempting to break their will.
I'll tell you who you are.
I am a warrior.
I think that we heard that guy talking about being a warrior already. Tell me about the Inquest. The Inquest are a group of Asura who want to dominate other races and spend no cruelty to achieve their desires. They use the swamps to hide their experiments from the Arcane Council. The Bandits is still a mystery why so many human criminals are out here in a place so far from trade routes and cities. We only know that they linger here and that there must be something to gain from it. So the Bandits are almost more mysterious here. And then the Wild Hunt. Sometimes my kind are called to a place overgrown with evil beings and poisonous deeds. Such places become our hunting grounds, and we do not cease until we root out the corruption. Tell me about the evils that brought you here. And then she goes on to say that. So that's a little bit more dialogue, very similar. This is really good because it makes it extremely clear to new players who don't understand the world, like all the details they need to know about these various factions. So it wasn't them, I guess. I know that there was someone, though. I'm going to speed it up, guys, and see if we can find any other interesting NPCs. Maybe it's this house. There's a funny thing. They're testing one another. There's a funny thing, though. An event with the Nightmare Court is going on nearby. There are Nightmare Spellbinders who have got Skrit slaves who are disoriented, and we could, like, save the Skrit there. Those are probably the very same Skrit with the mirror that we're looking for. What do these guys say?
Live life well.
Have you ever played Crash Cover Snip? It's a confusing game, but I like the concept. Of course, it's one of my favorites. I've enjoyed learning how to play, but I'm not very good at it. It's hard to understand. Wait.
Seize the moment.
You should try it with a group of friends, of course. I tried to play it alone, but it didn't work. He tried to play rock, paper, scissors with himself.
Not all that is...
Not many people linger here to chat. Have you come here for something more? Perhaps you're seeking the unseekable? That's a weird way of speaking there. I prefer the seekable, thanks. Welcome to our camp. Have you come to help us with the Nightmare Court? What is this place? It's Watchful Source, the Wild Hunt's main base here in the Brisbane Wildlands. Tell me more about them. Well, they're Silvari who must restore balance to the world who are called to the Wild Hunt. It's not something they choose, rather they're called to it as valiants. Right, I don't know what it was in my brain that made me think there was some, like, really profound, awesome thing. I mean, it has been cool speaking to everyone, but maybe I'm misremembering. Well, there you go, guys. So that is this town. I kind of hate to do this. I really wanted to get both instances done today, but once again, we've been so distracted and had so much cool stuff. Our entire journey so far has been this. But we're going to have to end it there. I'm so sorry, guys. Tomorrow, we will be doing Mirror, Mirror and figuring out exactly what is going on with these Skrit. And that hint I gave you about ore, keep it in mind, because trust me, it's coming. So cheers, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you with Caraflower more tomorrow.
No, I was the victor today.
Wherever did you get that idea? We had to pull you out of the mud.
Go get us more nectar, will you? It's your turn.
For everyone?
Yes, please.
Hostess, more nectar here, please.
Nice manners.
What? I said please.
Did you see the char that arrived yesterday?
I saw. If I had my way, I'd have slaughtered it for its insolence to the firstborn.
We're all the physical manifestations of some element of the dream. We all have a role to play.
If that's true, then that char is the physical manifestation of heartburn.
I felt its emotions so strongly, it nearly knocked me off my feet.
How terrifying for you. What did you do?
I grabbed onto the nearest thing, which turned out to be a Norn. He nearly knocked me off my feet, too.
You speak of the ancient among your race as if they've lost their usefulness. I don't understand this.
Just wait. In another 50 years or so when you're old, you'll get it.
There are times, fleeting times, when I envy the soundless.
I know what you mean, but I wouldn't give up my connection to the dream for anything.